Byron Buxton hit a hilarious triple over the weekend that's got a lot of people talking, and that includes Dave Brown and me. So we're going to discuss that and why we're enthused about what he's going to look like this season, and a little news and notes and whatever else we think of. This is Locked On Twins.
You are Locked On Twins, your daily Minnesota Twins podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello again and welcome back to Locked On Twins. I'm your host, Brandon Warren, and you can unfollow me on Twitter at Brandon_WARNE, and you can find him on the tweets at Answer Dave Brown. You can find him in the sheets, spreadsheets, that is. This is Mr. Dave Brown. What's up?
Hi, Brandon.
Sorry. It got weird. Usually does.
It did. I was startled, but now I'm back.
Okay. And anyway, thank you for making Locked On Twins your first listen every day. Free and available wherever you get your podcasts. That's where you are going to find us, and on YouTube. Having a lot of fun over at YouTube. So if you are listening to the audio, feel free to come check us out, like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Give us some feedback. We'd love to hear from you and all that. Today's show brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more. New customers join today, and you'll get $150 in bonus bets if your first bet of $5 or more wins. Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon to get started. Dave, we had talked about doing a show. Was it? Well, what day did we took a day off? And anyway, the Byron Buxton triple that you were absolutely marveling over, and for good reason. That happened. So that's been kind of sitting on the back burner, but I'm eager to talk about it, because if there's one thing I'll probably never do, it's give up on Byron Buxton. He could be 36 years old and coming off averaging 72 games every year for his career, and I'd still be like, man, if he could just stay healthy. So I'm not giving up on him, and I think this year is the year. I really do.
I thought you were going to say that if there's one thing I'm ever going to do, it's hit a triple. And I was going to agree with you. But I hit one off a kid in Badger, Minnesota, and I was playing I was the older person or older age of like a 2-grade level season. And he saw me come up to the plate and he's like, oh no, because I was just bigger than he was. And I hit the ball off the fence and got a triple. So I have hit a triple. I probably will never again, though. You are correct with that. I don't think I ever legged out a triple. I remember hitting a double off the fence, just missing a home run against George Hanges, one of my best friends. He was not happy.
No.
That was, I think that it was the same season that I fouled a ball off and hit my mom's windshield across the street in the parking lot, which she's still upset about.
Have I told you my story about that?
About me hitting? You weren't there. You wouldn't have any idea what happened. Your own windshield.
In one Legion baseball season, I broke 3 sheets of glass. So first, I hit a foul ball. I was at our home field, and our left field line is all cars. And it just kind of peeled off. I'm a left-handed hitter. It goes thunk. And the catcher, who's actually since passed away, says, dude, you just broke that guy's windshield. And I'm like, yeah, that's mine. And so then, I don't know, a couple weeks later, I follow one off to the same spot, and it hits, the guy's name was Keith Vattenstall, and broke his. And then we were playing in our rival town, which is like 20 minutes away, and one of the coaches was showing up late. I think his kid was playing on the other side of town or whatever, and their minivan was pulling into the parking lot, and I hit just a screaming foul ball, again, down the third baseline, and it shattered the back window of their van. Or maybe the wife was showing up and the dad was already there. But old Jim Kavit, I broke his back window. Yeah, poor Jim. So in one summer, I did that. So it is funny how the more you and I tell these stories and get to know each other, there seems to be a lot of similarities.
Yeah, it's I wonder how many vehicles or panes of glass Byron Buxton has broken in his career with various hits, fair or foul.
I don't
Well,
think he broke any when he hit a triple the other day, 2
no.
days ago. But he didn't break any speed records either for him. He just like took 4 strides, and he's got such long strides that he hit a triple without really running. It was the darndest thing that I've maybe not literally the darndest thing, but it was pretty darned.
Have you have you ever heard of Randball Stew?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so back in it might have been like 2015, he wrote an article for Twinkie Town, which is the SB Nation Twins blog of record, and it was Twins encouraging Byron Buxton to stop at second base. And so when he would hit triples, they were calling them show off doubles. And like it was my favorite thing about satire is that really good satire is virtually indistinguishable from the truth. And it literally got to a point where like the quotes that he had from Terry Ryan in there, and Terry's my favorite person in the game of all time. And even I had to laugh because it was like, we just don't want to show up the other opponents. And so we're just kind of like, stop at second base. So this was, I don't know if you call it a show off double, but literally he just floated around the bases, and like it's spring training for everyone. So you're not legging out,
Right.
everything or whatever, but he just floated. It was
Well,
one of the most darndest things.
we've talked about I use that darndest term. We've talked about how in spring the plan, such as it is, was to keep Byron healthy,
Mhm.
included playing the game sort of like this, where you didn't necessarily go 100% into the gap for a fly ball, or going around the bases, you didn't explode your hamstrings. And it was amazing to me. He picked up his speed a little bit going around second base. I'm looking at the replay right now, but it's
Mhm.
just like originally Superman didn't necessarily fly, but it's even in that buildup that everybody knows. Look up in the sky, able to leave tall buildings in a single bound. That was kind of how he made it look like he was flying, but he wasn't really. It was just that he could spring up so high that it kind of seemed like he was flying, and that's sort of
Buzz
what
Lightyear.
what.
Buzz Lightyear. He's not flying. He's falling with style.
Right. Well, that is the Buzz Lightyear twist on Superman. But
Okay. Okay.
yeah, in Buxton's case, he was like leaping around the bases. It was like ballet kind of a thing, and it was he did slide into third, so it wasn't a stand up. I think he probably could have stood, and that would have been an amazing style point by just standing up on that play. But it just goes to show you the Superman abilities of this guy, and what kind of season we think maybe healthy Byron Buxton can give.
That was Saturday's game, a 10-7 win over the Yankees. And the Yankees got a lot going on, not much of it good right now, between Aaron Judge dealing with some stuff and Garrett Cole going for an MRI on his elbow. We did see some news, too, that Lucas Giolito will be getting his elbow replaced, not technically replaced, repaired. But that's his second, if I'm not mistaken, because when he was drafted, he was coming back from one. At least second. I don't think it's third, but either way,
No, it's a second. You're right. I don't know
okay.
if it's the same injury exactly, but it's a very similar surgery. So it's yeah, it is like the degree of the tear and all that stuff. But yeah, it's not. I didn't heard about this Judge news. Fill me in.
Oh no, he was dealing with, he was beat up from running the bases or something. Like it was
See, that's what we're talking about here with Byron.
it's
Leaping
weird.
around the bases, you don't want to go full speed because bad things will happen.
Well,
Apparently.
and Aaron Judge, though, it's like one step to each base. So
Right.
I don't know. I mean, but
He's
it was,
got
yeah,
that toe too.
he was quote unquote beat up from playing in spring training games. And I mean, is that the position player version of having a dead arm? Where you think, oh man, a dead arm, you better find somewhere to bury it, find someone to bury it for you.
Heyo.
Yeah, exactly. But it is, I'm sure, I follow a lot of Yankee fans, some good, some bad, and all of them are just kind of like, what the heck, man? You can't have Marcus Stroman and Carlos Rodon be your top two guys.
it's not going to work. And so that's what I said. They have the possibility to do one of the funniest things ever. And then I said, signing Jordan Montgomery, because everybody's going to talk about Snell. If they went and got Jordan Montgomery, I tell you, that would be absolutely hysterical.
There's still time, brother.
Yes, there is. Let's take a quick second. We have some fun new stuff coming down the pipe from FanDuel. And then I want to talk a little bit more about this Byron Buxton guy, because it turns out he's pretty good. So we'll give that a second look here in just a moment. Right. My bracket is already busted. I don't know about you, Dave Brown, but we're not even going to see games for another, 10 days? But mine's already bad. It's already horrible. I've got, Cardinal Stritch is going to beat Purdue, and I'm just going to be screwed. But you can say goodbye to busted brackets, because FanDuel lets you bet on every game of the tourney. So if you've got a Cinderella you like, or if you really think that finally this is Gonzaga's year, or whatever, that's the ticket, you can bet on a big upset or a 1 seed. It's time to go dancing on America's #1 sports book, because right now, new customers get $200 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. That's $200 to use on point spreads, money lines, you name it. You can pick who's going to win it all. You might be wrong. Statistically speaking, you'll probably be wrong, but if you've got a good feeling about somebody, put your money where your mouth is. Just visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and bet on college hoops until they cut down the nets. What's that song they play? Is it One Shining Moment? And
right,
it's like
One Shining Moment. Sometimes I get confused and call it something else, but that's what it's called.
Yeah,
I get it confused with the One Moment in Time. I think the Whitney Houston song.
Oh, and I get it with
One Shining Moment is Luther Vandross.
Nice. So I get it in the Masters and Jim Nance and all that. So all the passion and pageantry and all that fun stuff. Anyway, if you are looking for a way to stay involved after your brackets are busted, because again, it's going to happen, visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and bet on college hoops. And once they cut down the nets, maybe you can be cashing in just a little bit. FanDuel is an official partner of March Madness. All right, Dave. Byron Buxton is reaching a point in his career where he's not exactly young anymore. He's 30. He's a man. He's 30. Okay, that's 40 actually, but we'll round it down for baseball terms. A podcast that I used to host called That 90s Baseball Pod was a whole heap of fun with Greg Olson, who was a Twins reliever for about 57 seconds in 1997, I think. But he had a great wealth of knowledge. He played the entire decade of the 90s, and so we had some pretty good context within the game. Between me and him, we got Paul Molitor to come on, and it actually happened to be like the week after Byron Buxton signed his extension. So what the heck? One, I knew that Paul Molitor was a huge proponent of Byron Buxton. Like, loved the guy. But also, two, like, he was his manager. Who else would you talk to about Byron Buxton than the guy who managed him when he came up? And he made a good point. He said, I've been talking to Byron about how difficult his career has been and to kind of stay up about it, because it's not impossible to have the healthiest years of your career in your 30s. And he, again, it's not saying it's a foregone conclusion or even likely, but he said, look at my career. I was way healthier in my 30s than my 20s. And so he said, he's just being encouraging. I'm starting to believe, Dave. And it's not that I never didn't believe, but there's certainly moments where you're like, it'd be real nice if this was going in another direction. But the vibes, Correa, Lewis, Buxton, like, it's hard not to be excited about Byron Buxton this year. And if he plays, let's say, 130 games, there's virtually no chance he's not a top 10 MVP vote type guy. I mean, I just don't see it.
No, I mean, well, just as recently as last year, I think maybe a lot of us felt like maybe it wouldn't happen, we'd never get back to him playing 100 games in the outfield. Or
we didn't know about the Plicca.
We didn't know about the Plicca. It wasn't applicable yet.
Nope.
And
nice.
And it is possible. And it's not like he's not in like immaculate shape. I mean, Byron Buxton is very muscular and he's in great shape. It's not, his injuries have been because of unfortunate circumstances, bad luck, poor timing, whatever. He's certainly due for some good timing. Now, it is, I would say, maybe unusual to expect your 30s to be healthier than your 20s.
Right.
And it wasn't, I look at a guy who just made the Hall of Fame, Adrian Beltre, and it's not that he had like a lot of injuries in his 20s, but he's in the Hall of Fame mostly because of the production that he was able to accrue in his 30s. He was a better player. He was a better hitter. He was healthy, and he learned from his early season, or early career mistakes, and he was a better player when he was always a really good defensive player, but
Mhm.
if Byron keeps working hard and gets some luck, he's going to have a few seasons, like you're saying, where he's in position to win an MVP. I think he's. I don't know what the odds are, but we got to check our FanDuel friends
Yeah.
and see exactly where he is on that. Uh, you could make some. It would be that'd be a great bet to put $100 down if you have it on Byron Buxton winning AL MVP. I think it's. I'm not saying that it is going to happen, but there would be a fun way to go about it. I think I agree with you. I think there's a good chance that Molitor's right about Buxton's career here as he gets into his third decade.
And you're injury prone until you're not. Some
Yeah.
guys, one who comes to mind is Roy Halladay, um, God rest his soul. He coming up got hurt a couple times, and one of them was like a line drive off his leg, if I'm not mistaken. And everyone's like, injury prone. It's like, what? Anybody who gets hit with a line drive in the leg is gonna, I don't know if it broke his tibia or it was some goofy thing 20 some years ago, so I can't really remember it. But the logic pretzels will wrap ourselves in to convince ourselves that the players are something or another. It's kind of nauseating, honestly. It's so many players. Buxton runs to third, and then someone's like, "Ha ha ha! Was he in the hospital afterward?" Like, it's just such low effort, low rent, low IQ, all of that. I hate
Kind of
it.
the same joke repackaged over and over again, and not not a helpful attitude either. I don't
No.
like hearing that kind of stuff about guys who are. It's not like he's trying to get hurt. I mean, he knows just as well. That's one of those things where the player knows. The player
Mm.
knows how many games he's played or not played, or he's painfully aware of it. I think you need to. The Royal U needs to give the players credit for being aware of themselves and their careers and their limitations and wanting to break through them. So nobody wants to and is in a better position to do something about it than Buxton. We need to give him a chance to do it without his plica.
It reminds me of when people say that I'm fat on Twitter, and I promise I'm not fishing for compliments or anything, but I'm like, I live in this body. I know that I'm fat before anybody else knows. Byron Buxton lives in that body. He knows it when he's hurt before anyone else does. He's keenly aware of when he's injured. You don't have to make it into some kind of thing. And like, when did we lose our humanity? Like the idea of, again,
Did
I'm
we
not
ever have it? Did we ever have our humanity?
true. It's true. I don't understand why we are so quick to like just find the negative in everything. Baseball is inherently negative as it stands.
Because we're unhappy in our own lives and we don't want anybody to be happier than us. That's why, Brandon.
I think that's probably right. Hey, couple roster moves today. Brent Hedrick, Simeon Woods, Richardson, and Matt Cantorino optioned. All three of those guys are going to pitch in the big leagues this year, maybe a lot. And then David Festa reassigned. Somebody asked me what the difference is. First three guys are on the 40. Festa is not. So basically, it's all procedural. But those three guys optioned to St. Paul. Don't think they'll stop over in St. Paul before they cross the street in Fort Myers, but I could be wrong.
That would be really going out of the way, considering everybody's in spring training right now. There would be no reason to go to St. Paul unless you had to go home to feed your fish or something. Maybe you forgot to let the cat in. That would be a reason to go to St. Paul, but that's really kind of irresponsible of you on a couple fronts. So have somebody take care of your cat and stay in spring training.
Yeah.
Really, guys?
Yeah, seriously. This isn't your first rodeo. Let's go.
Let's spring training and rodeo.
I bet it would be winter training because spring seems like a good time to have a rodeo. I don't know. This would literally be my first rodeo, so I'm really speaking off the cuff. Let's take a quick second, give some love for Amazon Fire TV. When we come back, I want to talk about NFL free agency, which I know sounds weird, but I promise we'll make it tie in, and it won't be because Kirk Cousins is leaving. But again, first, a word from Amazon. If you're looking for sports, live games, highlights, analysis, Fire TV is the place to be. Fire TV offers amazing viewing experiences with smart TVs as well as non-smart TVs. If you get a Fire TV stick, you just plug it into your TV and it gives you access to movies, episodes of television, and free and live TV, whether it's opening weekend for baseball, which is coming right up here, college basketball tournaments. We're going through conference tournaments right now, so we're about to find out which teams are going to be dancing here very, very soon within, I think, this next weekend. So it's going to be coming up here quick. You're going to want to have Amazon Fire TV for all of this. Now, Fire TV recently created Fire TV channels to deliver a constant supply of the latest videos from your favorite sports brands, all for free. That includes us at Locked On and most of the big pro leagues and college conferences as well. So Fire TV channels let you dive into all of the game analysis, highlights, and more to keep up to date on all the latest in the world of sports. Again, March Madness, NBA is really heating up right now. MLB is about to get going in earnest here, and lots more. And not besides that, great news, entertainment, gaming, travel, cooking videos, everything you are looking for from an entertainment platform, Fire TV has it. So check out the Fire TV channels on Fire TV and Alexa devices. If you haven't checked out Fire TV channels, you should. Trust me on this. To learn more, visit amazon.com/lockedonfiretv. Dave, if I'm honest, I'm petrified that I'm going to spell it out, Alexa device is going to pick up when I'm reading that, because I have one literally right next to me, and I'm just waiting for her to show up like Ask Jeeves and be like, how can I help you? And it's like, I'm busy, but I digress. NFL free agency kicked off. Well, the legal tampering period, which big whoop. You legalize something that was already happening and it just pushes back the other stuff, makes it happen sooner. It's really strange that Kirk Cousins has a video saying he's signing with the Falcons and it's set up like the Star Wars crawl from the beginning.
That was his own video?
I don't know if it was his own. It was posted by Peter. I think it was Peter Schrager of NFL, the morning show. But anyway, the free agency frenzy.
When I was coughing just now, did you hear it?
Just a little.
I got a new microphone, so I went to hit the mute button, but
spring training for everyone.
Yeah.
Where was I?
I'm sorry.
NFL
Peter Schrager.
frenzy. Vikings lose Kirk Cousins but land a defensive end.
I know what you're getting at. You're getting at already. I can tell what you're getting at. You want to make.
You tell me.
Well, I don't know if you want, but you're like, there's this frenzy going on. People are interested in NFL free agency. We got these major league players who aren't signed yet.
Yep.
Should we make MLB's system like the NFL's free agency?
But you said everyone is at spring training right now when you were talking about cats needing to be let out. You know who isn't? Michael Lorenzen, JD Martinez.
Maybe they're hanging out like in the parking lot.
Donovan
Could be around.
They're not playing on the Asian breeze, I'll tell you that much. Did you see my joke about that? Dare I?
We shouldn't give them the time of day.
It reminds me of the name of a knockoff soda that Grandma bought at Walmart, 3-liter bottle for 29 cents. So it just cracked me up to hear that was a team name. No, I'm not in favor of revamping it. I hear what people are saying, and I wonder, can they do better? But no, I'm not I'm not a proponent of it just because I want it to not stay the same. Like if it can get better, I would like that. I don't trust Rob Manfred to be at the forefront of making anything better.
That's always a good point.
Yeah.
I think there's just adding in deadlines or salary caps or things that make baseball like other sports, other leagues. There's just nothing in it for the players. So it's not. I mean, even and I tend to be pro player. It's true. I owners' interests don't necessarily jibe with mine. I'm more of a workers guy than an owner's guy. I don't know that there's really. I mean, you look at the situation now. It's there's enough salary suppression going on with the free agents and things like happened with the guy in the Giants. I'm going to call him JD Martinez, but that's not his name. JD Davis.
Boy, that's synergy though. A couple of different JDs looking for work.
That's true. Just don't name your kid that. Make your kid left-handed and don't name him JD, and he'll be fine.
DJ. Go DJ instead.
Sure. So I just don't know if there's anything in it for the players.
Right.
So it's almost like, why bother? Although the players have given up some things in the past, luxury tax thresholds and that kind of thing, and that stuff does create a soft cap of sorts, or certainly a rationalization or an excuse for teams not to spend. So I just don't see, why. I mean, look at it like this: is it great for the teams that the sport? Is it great for the sport that these guys are unsigned, that Snell isn't signed, that Montgomery isn't signed? No, it's not really good for them or the sport in general. But we are talking about it. I mean, we're talking about it kind of in a negative way, but it's not like it's not a controversial topic. It's a whatever du jour of spring training. It's in the news. So I don't know. I mean, what else do you want? I mean, people are talking about those guys. They're not signed, but it's still something that's in the news. It's getting coverage, maybe not in a positive way exactly, but I think that's enough. That's fine from the coverage standpoint, where we realize that it's going on. It keeps their names. People are like, "Oh, we need to have these guys signed." Well, that's the situation the owners have created, and that's kind of what they want. And they want to put the players up against a deadline, so they feel like they're missing out. And kudos to them for winning that part of not the CBA negotiations, but just kind of the back and forth. The owners are getting what they want with these players basically holding out at this point.
I think for me, I just come to the conclusion, and it probably says more about me than it does no, probably not. But if something is put in place with the right idea, it'll still be exploited to the biggest extent. Super 2 existed so guys could get paid, so they just skirted it.
I've never heard of a team, or I should say I don't remember hearing of a team doing what the Giants did to Davis, where I know that the rules are newish as far as what do you do with arbitration and that kind of thing and the timing of it. But I don't remember a team going to arbitration and losing and then not having to pay the guy. I didn't realize that was a thing. Apparently, maybe his agent didn't know either. But I think there's I don't know if you call it a loophole, but there's something in the CBA there that the players are probably regretting letting get by them at this point.
Yeah, anytime that there is a rule put in good faith, there's a way that it can be used in bad faith while still technically being followed. So that's why I have trust issues when it comes to that sort of thing. And yeah, players make a ton of money, but do you want to side with millionaires or billionaires? It's a pretty easy decision for me. So I have written down JD Davis, WTF Giants. Yeah, I don't like that at all. Giolito is having Tommy John. He's going to miss the season. Garrett Cole, hard to say what's next for him. Edward Cabrera, a popular trade target for Twins fans, and was having as far as I can tell, a great spring. Comes out of the game without even throwing a pitch. precautionary, but it was a shoulder. Shoulders are not to be trifled with. That'll be something to watch. Again, he's not a Twin, but if the Twins are going to make any moves for another pitcher, that is definitely someone to keep an eye on.
Circling back for a second with Garrett Cole to go into that a little bit more, and then tie in the free agent guys. Snell, or and you kind of made a joke about Montgomery. Do you think the Yankees will be moved to sign either one of them to some kind of deal if Cole is significantly injured? And shouldn't they?
More likely than the Red Sox are going to be to replace Giolito, right?
Oh, yeah. Well, the Red Sox aren't really they're dog paddling or something. They're not really trying. The Yankees, they have this fear of going over the luxury tax, but they are trying to win and appeared to be, some people think they are going to win the AL East. I don't know about that, even with Cole, but they should be interested in adding some kind of replacement if Cole is significantly injured, and maybe even if he's not.
So what the Red Sox are doing right now as we close here reminds me of the closing line of The Great Gatsby. So we beat on boats against the current, borne back ceaselessly into the past. They're basically just floating and hitting the waves and floating and hitting the waves and not really doing anything. And that's your Red Sox right now. They kind of stink.
No, you don't want to be. It's kind of a weird time to be a Red Sox fan. I know they've had a lot of success in the past couple of decades, but it's got to be frustrating because they go to a point and then they kind of pull back and we don't mean it. You go ahead and you win the AL East and we'll try and go for 84 wins tops. That's kind of where they're at.
They might finish last this year. In fact, I think they probably will. But hey, this is not Locked On Red Sox. Check out Gabby for that. This is Locked On Twins. Thank you for hanging out with us. We'll see you tomorrow night.